It's all covered in today's China Truths.
Let's watch a truly shocking video, one that reveals a side of BYD the public was never meant to see. Tell me, what's the difference between this and a urine bag? Because this is supposed to be a state-owned national champion, and yet, this is what BYD has looked like for an entire year. Hello everyone, I'm the owner of this big car, the so-called brand new BYD. Except I haven't even taken a proper photo of it yet. The license plate hasn't expired, and somehow, the car model itself has already been discontinued. My brand new car lost at least 15% of its value overnight. Look over here. See these rows and rows of abandoned vehicles? Every single one of them is BYD. In Shandong alone, the largest BYD dealership group collapsed entirely. All 25 BYD 4S stores shut down. Hundreds of buyers paid 3 years of insurance for nothing. Employees went 6 months without salary, and the bosses simply vanished. What kind of signal is this? People keep asking, should I still buy a BYD? But rumors online say the cars are all garbage, the company is drowning in debt, and bankruptcy is just around the corner. Right now, BYD is wobbling on the edge. Complaints are exploding everywhere. And honestly, I can't imagine how anyone would feel after buying a 300,000 yuan car, only to see footage like this. Take a look at BYD's stock charts, line 1, line 2, line 3. What's the difference? Almost nothing. Now look at this material. It's thinner than a kitchen knife. Inside, a protective film so fragile it might as well be paper. Water gun parts, plastic everywhere. And this fender on a brand new car already showing rust. This is supposed to be the light of the nation? In reality, domestic EV brands are protected pets of the CCP. BYD, the crown jewel, is built on censorship and suppression. Low-quality builds, silenced. Exploding batteries, deleted. Any video exposing problems, gone within hours. This is how the industry maintains its good reputation. Behind the curtain, BYD is squeezing suppliers and workers to slash costs while annihilating competitors. Price cuts are so brutal that retailers have collapsed one after another. Insiders reveal enormous inventory pressure and dealers fleeing overnight. Public data shows BYD carrying nearly 6 trillion yuan in debt, over 70% debt ratio propped up by risky auto loan ABS products. And yet, companies like this rely on non-stop legal threats to survive. Have you ever seen Toyota, Honda, or Volkswagen firing legal letters at creators every day? Some Chinese automakers have legal teams busier than their sales teams. Criticize them once strike, leak a defect lawsuit. Even random passers-by get threatened. Now, look at this 2-year-old car. The engine's air filter shell is rusted. Check this part, it breaks instantly. Traffic police say it takes 7 days to fix, and none of it is the owner's fault. My cousin in Fushun even said, local shops feel like a black market compared to normal brands. Meanwhile, companies like Foxconn pay on time every 7th of the month, bonuses included. But at BYD, salaries are delayed over 20 days, resignations are blocked, and workers are forced to quit so the company doesn't have to pay them. If you don't have a work permit, fired. Fired? You still only get 20 days of salary. BYD isn't just dark. It's pitch black. Employees work 12-hour days plus overtime. One worker said, "I'm exhausted. I can't take it anymore." He spent 3 months suffering through 10-hour shifts, night shifts, constant stress, and finally escaped. Meanwhile, look at this. A blue plate Tesla. They tell the public to support domestic brands, yet privately, they drive imported cars. At BYD, if you don't drive BYD, you can't even enter the factory. One employee's father arrived to pick him up during a heavy storm, but because he wasn't driving a BYD, security refused to let him in. His son had to sprint through the pouring rain, completely soaked, just to get in the car. All because it wasn't a BYD. And beyond the cars, BYD runs a massive propaganda machine, from dynastic naming schemes to Chinese pride campaigns, to telling women they aren't patriotic unless they drive domestic cars. I'll admit at first, even I fell for it. But today, this kind of manipulation just makes me sick. All of these cars and all of this unsold stock come from just one tiny corner of a massive factory. Imagine what the entire place looks like. They keep saying sales are booming, but reality shows the opposite. When you walk through second-hand markets, you see brand new vehicles disguised as 0 km used cars, new cars exported as used cars, and unsold cars being recycled as second-hand inventories. Why does this happen? Because, to maintain the illusion of strong sales, manufacturers have no other option. From my own experience driving a swappable battery EV, I strongly advise viewers, don't buy an electric car unless it's a Tesla. I personally will never buy BYD again. Search any second-hand platform and you'll barely find BYD cars, not because they're sold, but because no one wants them, and their resale value collapses instantly. Then comes the darkest question. How much is a human life worth? At BYD's Xi'an factory, the answer was 200,000 yuan. A 36-year-old worker, Wang Jianglong, collapsed and died in his rental room after working night shifts for an entire month. He had even taken half a day off that morning because he felt unwell. Yet no one expected he would pass away hours later. After 3 hours of negotiation, BYD settled on 200,000 yuan in compensation for a man who served the company for 12 years, an amount completely inconsistent with a corporation valued at 800 billion yuan. The irony is brutal. His work badge carried BYD's slogan, "Achieve your dreams." But whose dreams were achieved? Meanwhile, brands like Huawei, BYD, and Xiaomi have already infiltrated middle school test papers, with children confronted by corporate logos and brand-promoting questions. Growing up with this kind of influence, how can they objectively assess other brands later in life? They are conditioned from childhood to follow the narrative. China's EV boom was fueled not by innovation but by massive government subsidies. As analyst Leng Yan pointed out, Chinese EVs are cheap because their build and safety standards are extremely low. If sold widely in the West, they could destroy local EV industries by undercutting prices alone. But now China can't sell EVs overseas anymore. Production capacity is excessive, companies keep cutting prices and quality, and in the end, they are destroying themselves from within. At this stage, survival depends on endurance. Companies that can't hold on will collapse, and experts warn that a huge bankruptcy wave is approaching. A friend of mine refuses to work with BYD dealerships because their basic requirement is 90 days plus 6 months of forced inventory. Some contracts are even more extreme. Dealers lose money before they even open their doors. This is the reality of new energy. Look at Neta, another brand sinking in the same way. People try to be patriotic and support domestic manufacturers, but what do they actually receive in return? After 3 years with my own EV, I've replaced nearly every major component. The roof leaks when it rains, the door handle feels cheaper than a toy, and the taillights failed repeatedly. Bit by bit, the so-called new energy miracle fell apart right in front of me. China's electric vehicle bubble is swelling to the breaking point, and the warning signs are everywhere. From BYD's collapsing dealerships to Xiaomi's troubled entry into the market, the industry once portrayed as the pride of national technology is now showing deep structural cracks. Companies expanded blindly during the subsidy boom, flooding the market with cheap, unsafe, low-quality EVs just to chase volume. Now that subsidies are disappearing and the economy is slowing, demand has evaporated overnight. Unsold cars pile up in factory yards, disguised as used cars, to keep sales numbers alive on paper, exposing how dangerously inflated the entire sector has become. Several major EV brands have already collapsed, and many more are barely hanging on by cutting prices until they bleed. Investors are fleeing, suppliers aren't getting paid, and local governments no longer have the money to rescue failing manufacturers. What was once marketed as China's future growth engine has turned into a battlefield of desperate price wars and mass layoffs. Even giants like BYD are drowning in massive debt and inventory pressure, while newer players such as Neta and Leap Motor are struggling for survival. The industry's foundations, overcapacity, subsidy, addiction, and low safety standards are finally catching up with it, accelerating the downward spiral. As China's broader economy experiences its sharpest downturn in decades, the EV sector is crashing with it. Consumers are losing confidence, property values are falling, unemployment is rising, and households are cutting spending wherever they can. Electric vehicles, once the symbol of national ambition, have become symbols of financial risk. The bubble is no longer just expanding, it is leaking from every direction, and the moment it bursts, it could trigger a chain reaction across manufacturing, finance, and local economies. China's EV miracle is transforming into a slow-motion collapse, and the world is watching the fall unfold in real time. China's EV boom was once sold as proof that the nation could outrun the world, but today it stands as one of the clearest signals of an economy losing momentum. As debts pile up, factories idle, and consumers turn away, the illusion of unstoppable growth is collapsing under its own weight. The downfall of brands from BYD to Xiaomi shows that no company is safe when an entire industry is built on subsidies instead of sustainability. What was celebrated as a technological revolution has become a cautionary tale of reckless expansion and political hype. And as the bubble deflates, it leaves behind a trail of broken promises, stranded factories, and shaken investors. The era of China's electric vehicle miracle is ending, and a harsh economic reckoning is beginning. Thank you for watching until the end of this episode. If you have any thoughts or experiences to share, please leave them in the comments below. We look forward to seeing you again in our upcoming videos. Goodbye.
Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. We will keep reporting on the COVID surge in China, so don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell to get the latest videos. And thank you for tuning in.